Hi, Dawn.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you? We're the first ones to be here. There he is, Chai and Jada.
Great.
Hello.
Hi, Jada. Good morning. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. There we go, I think.
Thank
Aha.
you so much for answering me. This is Dawn. This is our buyer and borrower. And this is Jada.
Hi, Jada. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Don. We usually have more people that kind of float in as the minutes pass. You guys are very early. Thank you.
I wanted to make sure that I know Don is on time. He's always early, but he is also last 2 weeks ago, or a week ago, last Saturday, I was with you and Chai. He underwrite this. And he said, if Don can find a partner funding on this, it'll work. And the strategy that we're trying to accomplish is that he would the seller will carry the 10%, which is the $100,000 for a 1.450 um, sale price. And
Okay.
then the rest will be a DSCR loan. And then Mark will add him to the land trust. So if there's any, like I know that the program will require if he has an experience. So then we won't have to worry about that because then he will be in a trust with Mark in
Okay.
Florida. Yeah.
Have you talked to Mark about this?
No, you told me everything. You reported everything to me. So guess what? I just follow whatever message we have.
Well, that was something that I found, basically the Morby method,
Okay.
and I wanted to get some feedback from you before I broached it with him.
Oh,
So I think he'll go for it because he doesn't really have any alternatives.
right. Right. We'll see. Is Chai gonna be in here today, Jada?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
So I gather you
Absolutely.
thought that was a good idea.
Oh yeah, it really is. It solves the issue that what I'm worrying about with the CR loan.
Mm.
And not having a experienced borrower.
Correct.
Yeah, well, the two of us will get on the phone with him and explain it, because you've obviously done one or two or three or 10 of these before, and you have to remember I'm in my novice position here and learning every second where I'm on with you or with some of the folks you work with.
No, Jada is the season one, not me.
Okay,
Jada is she's that's why I go to them, but they're great people. They take care of us and they take care of
sure,
me.
sure.
We're just waiting for there's still people trickling, right, Jada?
You did.
Yes. Sorry. I were live streaming this and it was messing me up. I saw no one's face or no one's mouth moving, but I was hearing Dawn talk and I was just so confused. Um yes, so Chai will be joining us. And then in terms of or going back to your deal and what you're looking to do, so just I guess quick thing that I mentioned is you were wondering how DSCRs look like if you're not experienced and if you can get one, or is that a concern?
It was a concern. Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, you don't have to have a experience in order to get a DSCR. Just throwing that
Oh,
out there.
okay.
There solves the problem, Don. See, they have the answer. They like the problems and they like to solve it.
Well, the other problem is I'm new to um, these types of deals, and I don't have the, what is it? You have to have 20% for DSCR, and
Yes.
we're planning on getting Mark and I partnered up, and a trust is one way to do that, that I think protects both of us. And so we wanted to run that by Hannah first, and you second, of course.
There he is.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, how are you?
There's Chai. Hi, Chai. Good
Good, good.
morning.
How are
Happy
you?
Saturday. I'm
Sorry,
good.
I'm traveling, so I'm in a hotel room here with I'm traveling with my family this weekend, but I definitely
Nice.
don't want to miss this call.
Thank
And
you so much.
so I heard like a little bit of what you guys were talking about. So is Don the person looking for that funding?
Yes,
Yes.
there
Okay.
he is. Don, this is Chai.
Hi, Chai.
Don, how are you?
Good, good. Sorry to interrupt your family time.
Oh, no, 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 no. This is
He did this to himself, Don. You're fine.
Thank you, Chai. He always show up. Jada and Chai shows up all the time. Thank you, guys.
no, of course, yes. So my internet is a bit flaky here, but I hope you guys can see me and hear me. Fine.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, okay, perfect. All right. Someone sent me a deal to underwrite in San Diego. Was is it any of you guys here?
No.
Yeah.
Sean Lee.
Well,
Sorry.
Sean sent me. Yes. Hey, Sean, how are you?
oh, okay.
Hey, I'm good.
Awesome. Let me open that.
And then Hannah and Don, we'll go over yours afterward. I see that you had submitted it on Thursday.
Yes.
Is that the
Okay.
same one we looked at, Hannah, last time?
Yes, this is I'd
Oh,
like you to meet I'd like you to meet Don. He's the borrower and the buyer.
Okay, perfect. Hey, Amy, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Marvin, what's going on, Marvin?
Hi, Amy.
whatever.
Hey, how are you, Hannah?
Good. How are you?
Good. Just get another cup of coffee for the weekend.
Hey, Chai, Jada, everyone, good to see you guys.
Nice
Hey,
to see you, Marvin. I'll do better at
Into your new place, Jada.
this is the new place.
The new place.
Ooh.
Fancy.
Yes, nothing but chair.
Hey, it's a clean slate. No distractions.
Absolutely. Um, yes. Chai, you're taking a look at Sean's deal.
yeah, I'm just pulling up to see what it looks like. Let me share my screen. I'm just gonna change it to my hotspot. This internet sucks.
In the meantime, Sean, you want to give us a quick or a brief rundown on what you got going on?
Yeah, for sure. This is in San Diego. I do a lot of direct to agent, and I'm in some wholesaler networks, so they know I am looking in San Diego. So they gave it to me. It's off market. This one's actually direct to seller because they're working directly with the seller. Um, I haven't had initial conversation. I generally ask, "Are you open to something creative?" But the owner passed away. It got to the family, and as you guys all know, like the family just wants to get rid of it as soon as possible. So I just wanted to kind of get a quick chai analysis, and then yeah, we don't have to do a deep dive today, but I would love just for you to look at like the bigger numbers and then see if it's worth for me to dive into.
I mean, I'll give you a quick 5-second answer, and then we can look at more like a 15-minute answer.
Sure.
But I mean, just based on these numbers right here, you can see my screen, right?
Yes.
See, I mean, you were at 5 million, they dropped it down to 3.9, and I know San Diego is not like Texas or anything. It's way crazier numbers wise. You're paying around 390,000 per door, okay? And even if you consider 2,000 to be your average rent, that's less than 0.5%. I mean, well, that's right at 0.5% rule. So in Texas, we look for 1% rule, which is 1% of the unit price per month. So with that rule, this should be at least 3,900 in rent. You're right at half of that. So
Yeah.
2,000. So I highly doubt this is going to cash flow. Like, just look at these, unless, I mean, what are the taxes like in this area? Do you have the numbers for taxes, operating income?
Yeah, I gave you a spreadsheet. The taxes are
See, here is my challenge with this. So operating income 238, net operating income $2,000 per year. Correct?
Mhm.
Very low. Like after paying all expenses, you are, I don't know what that number. Oh, this is 200K per year. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Okay. So 200K per year. So that is, so expenses of 37,000 for an apartment that is 5 million. That's, I mean, that's weird. So that's not even 20%. And usually the expenses are anywhere between 40 to 45%. Okay, so those numbers look weird. That means once you purchase it for 3.9 million, the assessed value is going to jump up. I don't know the rules in California to tell you how much they can jack up the assessed value. I think there is a cap in California, if I'm not wrong. Is that right?
I think it depends on what city. It's all different.
Okay. But yeah, overall, I mean, just looking at the 5% cap rate, unless you plan to do something really creative with this apartment complex, there is no chance that this is gonna cash flow.
Got it.
So if I open mortgage calculator, and I mean, is there any seller financing, sub two hybrid, any scenario there at all?
The plan is I just want to get a high view and then yeah, have a conversation about that. I mean, for me, just look at the numbers. Unless it's a creative deal, it won't work. I don't think anyone's gonna just go in and buy it at 3.9. I mean, the pro is it's right next to San Diego State University, 5 minutes. So I think that's the potential there. But yeah, the numbers would definitely have to
So
get
I just
creative.
put property tax and insurance as one value in here,
Yeah,
even though I don't agree with it. So this is your number per month, 24,000. You have 10 units times 2,000. You are walking away with 20,000 and your mortgage payment is going to come in at 24,000. There is no chance in hell that this is going to cash flow.
got it.
Unless you double the monthly income per unit, per apartment unit. And that can be done by either creating a group home or something similar. So I have some group home operators I can connect you with that operate in California that can increase that income significantly.
Got it. Or it's got to be if it is free and clear, it's got to be a creative deal where the owner
Yeah.
is willing to just to get a
Yes.
passive income at a certain amount per month, right?
Yep.
Kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Thank you. That was good.
Yeah. It looks like a good deal overall. Like photos and everything. I mean, look like it's been rehabbed and exterior looks like it's in a good shape.
Yeah,
14.
I think the major pro is the potential and the location. So the number obviously it's off market. The seller, whatever, just passed away, so they're just like, hey,
University
we
of
need to
San
get this moving. So
very close to the University of San Diego.
yeah, it's a 5 minute walking,
Look
like
like couple other scenarios. Let's check
hmm
it here.
Pad split doesn't exist in San Diego right now. I talked to their agent.
Okay.
They're hoping to. It's an emerging one.
Yeah, that's
City.
surprising.
Yeah, it's like I think a lot of it's because of the cash flow issue. Once you buy a property, it just doesn't work, the numbers. But
Let's see.
they're
I mean, look at the
yeah.
LA numbers. Are you serious? LA doesn't have much either. Okay, so it's
There's
300.
one, yeah, that area has it. I mean, I
So
was
you
doing the numbers
have,
for pad split for San Diego. It's got to be like you got
so
to
you
do it
have
where it's
four,
350 a room or something,
yeah.
something crazy.
No, so you have 14 bedrooms and 10 units. That means you can convert that into 24 bedrooms. So if you did 24 bedrooms times 300 is 72,000 per week times 4. So you can increase your income by, I mean, up to 29,000, but 29,000 times 0.99 is what you're gonna get in hand minus utilities. 10 units, that's another. So yeah, you're gonna probably come down to the same number again of 20 to 23,000 per month, which is not great, but maybe a group home, you know what, TTG, hold on, let me give you this lady's contact.
While Chai looks that up, I did want to point out that I don't know if you've all connected with each other yet, so put your info in the chat.
Detox housing, she does. We are talking to them. Okay. Remind me to send that to you, okay?
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
So they do detox and rehab housing for veterans and stuff.
Okay.
So we are working with them to someone right now. So for our apartment complex here in Houston. So but they operate in California quite a bit. That's what I heard.
Okay.
And
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
yeah, of course. No problem. Okay. Let's go back um to Hannah's deal. Let's see. If you got anybody got any other deals, please send them to my email and I'm happy to pull them up next.
Marvin, you got anything?
I do.
No
It's
way.
it's it's kind of large though. It's like 500 units, so I don't know if we'd be able to. I have the rent roll in T12 and such though.
Is this you, Marvin?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, please go ahead and send it. Let's look at it.
Gotcha.
Okay, Hannah, your deal has changed, am I right?
Yes, it have changed. It has changed. Instead of 1.6, it's 1.4, and the seller will do $100,000. What was that again, Don?
Well, we
He's
wanted,
gonna carry. Yeah, let Chai know because he's our he's our guy here.
sure. What I ran past Hannah is essentially instead of 1.45, I went up to 1.5 just to make numbers easy to work with. And um, Mr. Anderson had is the seller, Mark Anderson, and he has owned this property. Did you get all the financials that I had sent on this?
Mm,
Because it
so I'm gonna pull that up again. Let me see.
okay. and I'm got my copy in front of me too. It does essentially a a net of $135,000 operating per year, operating as an Airbnb for about a third of the year. The rest of the year in Florida, the tourism drops off, except for Europeans. They come here a lot in the summer. They like it hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't, yeah, as far as increasing the revenue, I think they are not advertising to the European crowd, which they need to. So, um, that's just one thing. But if we look at 1.5 million, Mark said at one point in time that he would not not supply seller financing at 135, but he would at anything above 145. And so at 1.5, um, I think we can count on him to do 20% of
Seller finance.
of the loan as seller financing. So that gets us our DSCR 20%. And
Okay.
the way to do that, I thought, would be for he and I have yet to run this by him. I didn't want to do that if we didn't have anything that we were going to use it
I
for. But
mean, so at 20%, I think we are gonna have to bring. So this has this been operating over 12 months, Hannah?
yes, 2 years.
Yes.
2 years, right? So these are the actual numbers.
Yes.
So which software is this coming? I mean, it's host away. I get it. So if these are the actual numbers, then we need a report from this for the last 12 to 24 months for us to because these are very solid numbers. So these are I'm just assuming these numbers are before their fee, before utilities, before expenses, right?
I have never seen the host away dashboard from him. I have two Excel files and a PDF of his 2023 K1, and those all seem to agree.
Okay, can I see that, Hannah? Do you have that?
Don has it. Let me see if I
No, I
can
sent it to you.
get it to me. Okay,
Let
I'm
me
gonna
go hunting for it also.
let me go ahead and send it to Chai. I have a screenshot of. Okay.
Man, this is very, very good deal. I guarantee you that. Because if these numbers, so this is a number, this number that we are looking at is for 2024 first quarter. I mean, I want to see that K1 for sure to see what they took home. But if they're taking home 131 per quarter, that's
Okay, yeah, it's right here.
Okay.
Let me forward it to you, Chai.
okay.
I found mine as well, so
You did? Okay.
yeah, if yours don't go through, yeah, you've got one I have. Yeah.
Okay, let me forward this to Chai. Okay. There you go, Chai.
Those who
Hopefully
are looking at this deal, so this is an Airbnb, this is an operating Airbnb in Florida. What part of Florida is this?
Punta Gorda.
Ponta Gorda. Yeah, Ponta Gorda. Gorda, however you say it. I'm sorry. Punta Gorda. Um, so let's look at this property for everyone again. It's a very nice property.
He has a website with even nicer nicer pictures, but these
Yeah.
are very accurate. That actually, some of these are from his website. And I have been in the property. This is exactly how it looks.
Okay. Yeah, that's beautiful. Like all set.
Got tankless water heaters and mini splits to get the expensive equipment up over
Man, I would
any
love to.
flooding.
Pretty nice.
Very nice, huh?
Yeah, I don't think this is the most luxury one, but this is efficient, functional, and affordable, I guess. So how much are they charging nightly? I think there was one.
Well, again, it differs on the time of year, I know.
Yeah, but just average, I'm thinking.
I don't have that information, but I can get it.
Thought I saw it somewhere.
Oh, there
No.
you go.
Okay, average daily rates like 150 bucks. It's like a hotel, but with a lot more.
Right.
I mean, I mean, that's how much you pay for a holiday in these days. More than that.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, very nice. Very nice. And the occupancy is through the roof on this one.
It's
That's
pretty
why the
good.
numbers are good. 75%. If you if you are able to jack up that occupancy to 80, 90%, then this deal becomes even more sweeter. Okay, there it is. Okay. So for those who don't know what this is they're sharing their income tax filing.
And that's his wife,
Okay,
Mark
so
and
the
Stephanie.
Punta Gorda numbers. So rents received 236,000, advertising, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Total expenses 323,000. Okay. Okay. So even though the total expenses are 323, 150,000 is depreciation alone. Okay. So when you read this, it's very important you know what you're reading. Okay. So this is very good information because this is what shows the actual numbers. Like what we saw last time, those were just the best quarter. That's what they were showing us, like right here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So these are the best quarters. These are quarterly numbers, and those are the yearly numbers, and the expense ratio is pretty high in this area. But even then, the deal still makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
2023, we also had at least two. Honey, did we have three hurricanes? We had three hurricanes come through Punta Gorda in 23, and not too many people were laying outside their
Yeah.
units.
Okay. So let's look at. Okay, so that is 2024 numbers, but okay, this is weird. But your net operating income after everything, property tax, insurance, lawn care, repair, maintenance, supplies, utilities. $225 minus 77,000 is 150,000 you are clearing for the whole year. That's after taxes and everything. Okay,
Yes.
so let's look at your situation. So how much interest are they willing to charge you for the 20% they will hold?
We have not got that far with him. I would think it would be somewhere down in the 5% for him or
Okay.
less.
Okay, so what we are gonna do is we are gonna take 1.5 as the full price, and we are gonna give it a half a point haircut because your underlying lien's gonna cost you about a 7%, considering you have perfect credit. Let's say you get 7% on your underlying lien at 70 to 80%. And then the rest of the 20% comes from the seller at 5%. So I'm just gonna adjust this from 7 to 6.5. I don't need to put any property tax insurance numbers because those are already plugged in before your 148 that you're walking away with. And then your monthly payments gonna be 94.61. So 94.61 times 12 is 113,000 for the year minus 148,000. You're gonna walk away with 35,000 in pocket every year with those numbers. And if you don't have hurricanes and if your marketing game is stronger, I think you can increase that income from there. Right
Great.
now, the way you're looking at this deal, you're probably looking at putting maybe 100 to 150,000 of your own money, and then the rest all comes from the seller and the underlying lien. So if I use the calculator at, say, if you put down 150,000, okay, so you're walking away with around approximately 35,000, divide that by 150,000. Your cash on cash return is 23%. That's very, very good for today's market. And this is after all expenses. Remember, we looked at all these expenses. That includes cleaning fees, commissions, platform fees, Stripe credit card fees, advertising, legal professional management fee,
That's
property,
probably the Airbnb
everything,
company. Yeah.
equipment, software, supplies. This is very comprehensive list of fees. After all that, you're walking away with about 148 and change. So the way I've calculated your 23% is basically, let me just, I think we prepared a spreadsheet, don't we? Didn't we, Hannah?
What's that? Sorry.
Time we prepared a spreadsheet for you guys, right?
Yes, you did. Um, last week was it? Yeah, it was last week.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one.
Adjust these numbers lightly. So now you're at 1.5 million. The down payment 150, because this is what I'm looking at, Don. 20% comes from the seller, 70% comes from the underlying lien, and 10% comes from you. Okay. We are going to
All right.
improve those numbers, but the way it sits right now, I can give you well, with those numbers, I'm sure we can go up to 75 to 80% on the underlying lien, because you have a track record of this running for 2 years. Okay. So those numbers are very solid. So if that happened, then your down payment goes down to 75,000. Unless you are able to negotiate with the seller and say, hey, Mr. Seller, I want you to come in at 25% instead of 20%. If they do that, I think you are solid. Then your out of pocket is pretty much zero.
Yeah.
That's what we were hoping.
Okay, so we assumed these numbers, but now we have them actual. What were we at? 26,000.
I think those could really be improved too.
At 77,443. Okay, so 820. Okay, that's pretty fun. Okay. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to make this bring this in at about 26,000 for the year. Utilities, we have actual maintenance. So it's total 77 minus 26. We need to be at 50 here. Okay. And these numbers have changed since then to 36,000. So remove my comment. That's why I was pretty sure that 400,000 doesn't seem right last time. Okay. There were some other fees in yours. Okay, services. So you're at 267 minus 41,000. 7,000. Utilities was okay, 84. Okay, we'll copy all those fees. We'll just adjust this number for now. So if you created a scenario where your out of pocket is 5%, 75,000, you're looking at a potential return of 45 to 50%.
Wow.
I mean, amazing. And this is after loading the fees all the way. There is no, like, we are not, and there is a very good chance you are able to improve this number. So, and if you can bring it to a point where your out of pocket is 0, then you can also work with the I mean, your risk reduces significantly. I think it's a good deal.
It
I
is.
just want to make sure too that if there's any connector fees or any additional fees that should be added on here for us to consider?
Did you bring this deal to Don, Hannah?
He brought it to me, and I'm the one that brought him to my team, and then you guys. So
Okay.
I'm the connector.
Oh, okay, got you. Okay. So so there is gonna be financing fees, Don, in here. So your financing fee, you're looking at, I recommend setting aside 5% because the fee itself is 2 to 3%, but the other 2 to 3% goes towards reserves and everything else. So your reserves, I mean, every DSCR loan you do, they're gonna ask you to put down 4 to 5 months of reserves towards your property tax and insurance in an escrow account. It's still your money, but it just goes and sits in their account.
I understand.
Pay yearly taxes, and uh, it is used to hedge against the variation in taxes and insurance numbers. So I would say that fee will be around 75,000 additional. But if you are able to reduce that fee down to 0, then your numbers will improve. Right now, the way they sit, you're still at about 26% after financing fees. So you're still looking at about 165 out of pocket at 5% down. And still you're walking away with a pretty good number.
Yeah, it's a good deal.
Yeah.
165.
But you have to make sure that you vet the operator. I mean, which is Hostaway is a very good company, obviously. Anyone else have a question or anything you are not following on this deal? This is a very good deal. This is a one of a kind deal only because market is, I mean, for lack of better words, so shitty right now that anything, if you can get anything to cash flow, it's a miracle in these markets, like southern states, like, uh, of course, not Alabama or Mississippi. Everything cash flows there pretty much. But then it has other challenges. You are looking for really good cash flow, and if you know a good operator, you can always look into Midwest. We are working with some people in the Midwest, and we are building a fund. We are paying 12% annualized in two of our funds right now. One is the Midwest fund, and another one is our debt fund for our lending company. Debt fund is secured by first lien position. Your money is secured by first lien position. If you or anybody you know, Hannah, especially for you, I know you're very well connected. Bring us any of those investors that are happy with 12% interest.
Right. Thank you so much, Chai and Jada. So we know what to bring. So 165, and then the rest of it, which is the DSCR loan, you'll be able to help Dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna come back. So yeah, the next step with Dawn would be us probably the strategy to bring that 165,000. Maybe I'll get it will be like a almost like a gut funding for him, and then we'll do a second position for whoever's gonna invest into this.
Yes. Yeah. If you find investors, that's even better. But let me remind you of one very, very key factor in your negotiation with the seller. You need to make sure the seller understands that their 20% is going to go in second position. Okay.
Second position, they're
He's
20%.
already said
Don't
that,
want to
guy.
scare them by keep on repeating the word second position, but you want to make sure and explain them, hey, I'm going to get a loan on this property, and then I'm going to attach your lien in the second position. And I mean, the property can support both loans with these numbers easily.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you guys. Thank you
Thank you
so
very
much,
much. Nice to
Jada
meet you both.
and
Of course.
Chai.
Of course.
We
Yeah.
used up all your time.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's
No,
what
no.
we're here for.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah,
thanks.
last time
What
they
I
run it by me.
person who manages this underwriting power hour. Thank Jada.
Okay.
I'm just
Yeah,
here to talk and have fun.
Don, you gotta, this is what we only ask. You gotta post this and you gotta take a picture and post it in your social media.
Yes.
The the spreadsheet or
The
No, and
Zoom.
the Zoom.
The Zoom. Chai, may I get that
it's
copy
nothing,
of that
nothing, nothing good is
spreadsheet?
on. This is just for us, for that helps us spread the word about what we are doing. This is a free underwriting session. This I don't know of anybody doing any free session like this. And we
Only
do
Chai
it for
and Jada.
multiple. We want to connect with the community, stay in touch with our borrowers, find new borrowers, find people who are making good decisions with their investment. We don't want to extend loans to people who don't know what they are doing. So this is kind of like a service in a way. Uh,
If you guys know people that also don't know what they're doing, tell them to come here because that's the point of this Zoom. We want to make sure that everybody again is going exactly through the numbers as Chai would. And so hopefully if you guys got some insight and you feel like okay, these numbers make a lot of sense, we want that for everybody else. And then if anybody needs a loan, cool, then we can help you on that end too, on that end as well. But first and foremost, we want to make sure that people aren't going into bad deals.
You
Thank
do
you.
I
this
have
meeting every Saturday?
Yes, sir.
every Saturday. Yes,
Yep. Chai, may I get that spreadsheet so then when I present it to my other investor,
yes,
this opportunity, I can present this number with Don.
absolutely. Hey,
Thank you.
I would do want to mention one more thing. I'm starting to make this a regular announcement, so to say. Um, I want to remind all of our borrowers one thing. Okay, whenever you get a DSCR loan, the lender is gonna wanna ask. I mean, lender is gonna wanna know that you have reserves of 6 months. I mean, minimum 3 to 4 months, but let's call it 6 months, depending on how much property you hold. Okay, you need to
Okay.
have 6 months worth of payment. You don't need to send that money to them, but you want to show that you have 60,000 liquid funds available to service the debt, because the monthly payment is about 10,000 plus taxes and everything, maybe 12 to 13,000. So let's
Okay.
call it 120,000 all in. That loan
120,000 that we
will
need to
have,
show.
it can be in stocks, it can be in your bank account. It needs to be it needs to be liquid reserves. It can be 401k, but I think they will only accept 50,000 because you can get a loan of up to 50,000 on your 401k. Uh, but yeah, other than that, I mean, uh, you can get a loan pretty easily as long as your credit is fine, because the property it, so the SCR loans are given to the property, and borrower is like borrower's credit and reserves and ability is checked because borrower is the operator. Okay, the loans don't always go on your credit. We can work with a lender. There are certain lenders who will put these loans on your credit, but there are a lot of lenders who will not put this loan on your credit, and we can work with one or the other depending on the rate and what you're looking for. So but either way, you need to make sure you are able to sustain this loan for a minimum of 6 months or longer before they will detach it from your credit altogether. If you default or refinance this type of loan within 6 months, it costs everyone a lot of money, because it costs money to do the loan in the first place. So usually early prepayment penalty applies until the 6-month mark. It's not a prepayment penalty, but they will penalize the broker. Okay. So we
They
have to be
usually
very
also have,
careful with that. Sorry, Amy, go ahead.
I said there's usually pre-penalty payments for
Yeah.
DSCR as well. So
Yeah, there's
usually,
some lenders who do charge to the borrowers as well, but brokers are definitely penalized if
Mm.
you refinance within 6 months.
Chad, do you have time to do one more?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so I bought a quadplex and I'm trying to decide if I want to
Thanks,
rent it out
Chad.
or turn it into a
Already
pad
bought
school.
it? You already bought it, Jim?
Yes, I've already bought it.
Without
So
bringing it as a
I'm
part?
about 2 or 3 weeks away from having it finished. It
Oh, wow. Okay.
was a mess. I put $100,000 in it.
Did you send me something in the email?
I'm gonna send it to you right now. But the address is 1015 Chestnut Avenue in Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh, I love. Just based on that address, I know this is going to be a good one.
yeah, Kansas City is a great market.
I'm not in the best area, Kansas City, with this one,
You said
but
1005
1015 Chestnut Avenue.
Chestnut Avenue.
And are you looking to do like, or did you buy this with a hard money loan?
I did. Yes, I did. So I'm looking at it. I don't think I'm gonna get much appreciation out of it. I was doing it as a cash flow play, but I don't think I'm gonna get a whole lot of cash flow out of it either. I may just turn around and sell it because it appraised. I paid 240 for it. I put 100 in, and it appraised a couple months ago. If it's completely rehabbed at about 450.
Is this the one on my screen?
Let's see your screen.
At the top of your screen, you'll see. Oh,
No,
oh my gosh. What?
that's not it. 1015 Chestnut. I'm sorry, 1012 Chestnut Avenue. I gave you the wrong
Oh, wow.
address. I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay, so it's a 600 square foot each unit, 595,
Yes.
500
Yeah.
and
They're
25.
2-1s. Each one is a 2-1.
Okay, so it's a tiny two ones.
Yeah, you're pretty small.
So what are they renting for?
They were renting for about $800, but the health department could have closed this place down. It was being run by a slumlord. So I'm fixing them up to be pretty nice. And
Okay.
so I could probably get close to 1,000. Anyone from $950 to $1,000.
It's showing 1140. It's not probably not accurate. Uh,
What is your email address, Chuck?
I'll put
it's
it in the
CH.
chat again.
Okay, thanks, Sheila.
Yeah.
Because I did a worksheet. Let me get you the worksheet on it, and we can talk.
Is this your rehab?
No, I haven't even seen that.
Okay. 1012 Chestnut Avenue. Are we looking at the right address?
101. Yes, it is the correct address. Should be 60127.
It's a 64127.
64127. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm not seeing the. Did you put it in, Jada? Oh, here it is.
Mhm.
Okay.
So while he's doing that, I'm gonna just try and do quick math. So he bought it for 240 and put, I guess he said 100, 120
Yeah.
to it.
About 100, 110 in.
Okay, so you're all in 360 with closing costs. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now you rent these for $1,000, that's 4,000 per month. That's still
Mhm.
over 1% in that area, which is which is good because here is what you're gonna get. What do you think it'll appraise for?
Well, it appraised again back when I bought it in October, if it was completed for 450K.
Okay, so let's say we are able to get you a $450,000 valuation. So valuation and sales are two different things, obviously, you know that.
Right.
So at 450,000, you're gonna get a loan for 337. So you will only leave maybe $20 to $30,000 in the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. At 337,000 loan amount, %7 interest. What is your property? I mean, did you send me something? I guess you did.
I'm sending it right now. Let me make sure this is right.
Do you have your property tax and insurance off the top of your head?
Yeah, I can tell you what it is.
Because usually in Kansas City, those numbers are pretty small.
All right, so property taxes are, right, they can't be right. $5,915. Maybe that is right. Is that right?
Yeah, 2,000 roughly. And insurance another 2,000.
I'm looking at my spreadsheet and there's something not right with it. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Are you local to that area?
No, I live in Atlanta.
Atlanta. Okay, so you are gonna need a property manager.
Yeah, I have several property managers over there. I've got about 8 homes over there right now.
Okay. And how much do they charge you for something like this?
8%.
8%. Okay, so it's $80 per unit. Maybe you
Yes.
can probably get a better deal considering this is one property.
Mhm.
Okay, let's call it $300 still. Okay, so you are looking at getting 4,000, okay, minus your
The
monthly.
property tax is 1856.
Okay.
And let me see what my insurance that I'm paying right now is.
Yeah, you're on the third, right? Sorry. They're on the here.
Uh,
What is
I
that?
am so sorry. I'm so sorry. My insurance, I didn't put it in this folder.
It's okay. I mean, we can assume it to be at 2,000. Consider. I mean, based on my other.
Yeah, let's say, why don't we say $2,500?
Okay, that's fine. There is other contingencies in this number. So let me walk you through uh these numbers. So 4,000 will be your rent. Okay, minus we'll just call it 2,600 and make the insurance higher. So minus 2,600 your monthly payment that includes your mortgage, property tax, and insurance. Okay. You're walking away with 1,400 minus 300 property management minus maybe a $200 in your maintenance. Okay. So your clean cash flow is $900 times 12 is right at 11,000. Divide that by on an, I think you will probably leave 25,000 in the deal after your note. Your cash flow can be all the way up to 43%, which is kick-ass for this type of market. I mean, people are happy if they get 10% cash. Like if they reach double digit in this market, that's a huge win. And a little win is if they break even. Okay. 10% is, I mean, people are bidding. I mean, properties are going into a bidding war in Texas where the cash flow is 10%. People still have to go outside of the city limits to more rural areas to get that in Texas. I mean, this
Yeah.
is
I think the challenge
Yeah.
I'm going to have with this, Chai, is it's a quadplex, so I'm not going to get much, if any, appreciation. It's not in a super area.
No, but
So
you're
the
only
biggest
leaving
benefit is
five in the. I'm
and
sorry, it was a lag. Go ahead again.
go ahead. Yeah, so that's the one thing which is okay, but I've been speaking with Pad Split. They want me to turn it in from a 2-1 into a 3-1 and get the income up to around $7,000. And then, under the expectation that instead of having a kitchen for, it would end up being 12 bedrooms, you're going to have a kitchen per 4 bedroom or 3 bedrooms,
Ah,
and parking and all of that. So, that's where I look to try to run some numbers. You will get a little bit better cash flow with it, but because of the location, the kind of tenant you're going to get in there is going to be really very good. And there could be a lot of turnover. And pet splits are never good if you have a lot of turnover because they end up making all the money, not you.
I do also want to add that if you are doing a pad split or co-living and you're trying to get a DSCR at all for it, if you add more kitchens, if there's more than one kitchen, that's going to be very difficult. A lot of lenders do not like boarding houses, which it turns into
Okay.
if you have multiple kitchens.
Okay, that's a good point.
so another situation with pad split is, and again, I think in your case, this may work well, but what I recommend looking at, so you're looking at $1,000, okay?
Mhm.
So let me plug this in to my other magic calculator. Come on. So you, my friend, might want to look into Section 8 in this area.
Okay.
So again, it's not anything major that it's showing you, but every day the numbers are growing, okay, with Section
Mhm.
8. So there is a very high chance you might actually get 1100.
All right.
Okay, so check for vouchers. List your property on affordablehousing.com.
Okay.
Check what vouchers you are getting. And property managers in Midwest areas are very well trained for Section 8. So tell them to put a Section 8 tenant and see what they get. If they can get better than 1,000, go for that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a great suggestion. So it's affordablehousing.com.
Affordablehousing.com. Yes. So with pad split, I want to warn you of one situation that a lot of people run into. If you have a 3 bedroom house, that you can convert living room, a game room, a garage, and you can go from 3 to 6 or 7, if not like 8 or 9 bedrooms.
Uh-huh.
And people are doing that. In that situation, it has a dramatic effect on the rent you can collect.
Hmm.
But if you just go from 2 to 3 bedrooms, the effect does not like nullify. I'm not sorry. I'll take that back. The effect is not dramatic enough for you to just scrap the long-term tenant strategy, because long-term tenants are a lot more stable, turnover is less, it allows you, gives you more time to focus on other things,
Right.
your discussion with the lender goes 100 times smoother, your property doesn't have to be changed, you don't need to provide furniture, you don't
Right.
need to provide pad split fees, you do
Right.
not have to provide utilities, internet, all these things. So there is
Hmm.
a lot that is completely omitted from your strategy if you stay with long-term rental. So
Okay.
the unless the benefit is really like 2 3x, because this benefit is going to be very small.
Right.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
however, I will also contradict my statement by telling you another situation that is happening with me right now. So, I have a 25 unit apartment complex in Houston, and I'm converting it from Section 8 to pad split. Okay. Because I'm not getting enough Section 8 vouchers for that apartment complex right now. Okay. And it's a challenging area. It's like other issues, whatever. But when I ran the numbers, it looks like my Section 8 strategy is doing better.
Hmm.
And I don't have to change the whole layout of my apartments. Okay. So be very careful with why you're doing it. I'm still probably going to end up doing it because it's a low income area and it's very challenging area. So
Yep.
pad split will give me much more stability, because even though it's a low income and challenging area, it's very close to downtown. And a lot
Hmm.
of people with single bedroom tenants, so we'll get more quality tenants that way. That's our thought process. And I'll elaborate on that at another time. But my point is, I don't think it applies to you. It's just my gut feeling. But look into all these things I just said.
So you don't feel like pad split would should pull the trigger on that because it's the same low income housing that you're talking about with your property. You think Section 8, again, why do you think Section 8 would be a better fit than pad
Just,
split?
just let's do a like a simple number. Okay. So you're collecting, we have proven with this that you will be able to get 1,000. Okay.
Yep.
So 1,000 compared to pad split. So now you have two tenants in the house at 175 times 3 times 4. So you will go from 1,000 to 2,100
Hmm.
per month. Okay. Pad split charges you 10%.
Hmm.
So you're at 1890 minus the utilities, including the internet. I'm gonna call it up 500.
Hmm.
Electric, water, gas, everything.
Right.
You're at 1390. And
Then you got vacancy and
yeah, and
people
then
coming
you
and
have
going
way
and
more vacancy compared to this.
hmm.
So instead of 4 tenants, you're dealing with 12 tenants.
Right.
The vacancy, I mean, I'm assuming to be at 15%. So you're pretty damn close to where you are, and you'll probably hit that
Okay.
number in a year or two with Section 8.
Gotcha. Plus 4 times the headaches,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah, there is like, if you give it a 10% haircut for the headache, then yeah. That's why I'm saying. But But going from 3 bedrooms to 6, 7, 8 bedrooms, that's a completely different map.
Right.
That dominates big time.
I got you. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. I appreciate
Good luck.
you
Good luck.
you doing that for me. Thank you.
But I think we can. I mean, I wouldn't sell this property. I would just, because you're gonna walk away with 100 grand in hand. You're gonna pay 30, 40,000 in taxes. It's
Mhm.
just not a fun scenario. I would just hold it, leave 25,000 in it. Your money will be out in couple years. Then you don't have money in the deal. It's just keep on cash flowing.
Okay, what about you turn around and selling this property now? Because it'll never be better than it will be once they finish this rehab. Maybe making $100,000 off of it.
Yeah, that's what
Probably
I'm
would.
saying. If you are one of those who need an active income, if you need
Yeah.
today's money, then sell it. But if you don't need money, because the more you take out, the more you have to plan on buying.
Right.
So, and you have to pay taxes. It's not,
Yeah.
when you sell this, you have a partner, which is Uncle
Yeah.
Sam. If you don't,
Yep.
sell it, you don't have a partner. You're the only
Gotcha.
owner, basically. So,
Yeah.
you
Or
are able to do
at
all
least
your,
hold it for a year, right? So you can get the exchange. You can turn
yeah, you
around and
can
put it in
1031.
different real estate. 1030.
You still have to find another property. You are not, I mean, what are you really benefiting from this? Yes, you will find another property and then two more rehabs. If your
Right.
goal is to just grow your portfolio and this is the only down payment, because you're only leaving 25,000 in this deal,
Hmm.
not like
Yes.
you're leaving 100,000 in the deal.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
if you are in the, I mean, if you are worried and want to get your equity out, if you're worried about the area, I mean, if you didn't say any of that, so I'm not factoring that in. But if there is anything you're worried about in that area or any specific reason you need to sell to cash out today, then it's a different
Yeah.
story. Based on
I
everything,
don't.
doesn't
I
sound like.
don't. I don't need the money today. I guess what I'm concerned about, I just don't think it's going to appreciate. So it'll be good
Yes.
cash flow. But as time goes by and it needs more work, I always think if you're going to do an LTR, the most money you make if you purchase right is going to be over
Oh
time
yeah.
with appreciation, and that's just not going to happen here. That if anything, it's going to go down as the property starts to get wear and tear, and
Yeah.
so I wouldn't have done it knowing if I knew back then and I bought it not quite a year ago, I wouldn't have pulled the trigger on it.
Yeah.
So I'm considering all the options.
In general, it's 3.3 to 4% is pretty consistent across United States. That's the appreciation year over year. And what that means is every 15 years, the property prices double.
Hmm.
So I think, and that has happened to me. I mean, anything I bought over 10 years ago, I think they've already doubled only because of COVID, but they were going to double by 2030 anyways.
Hmm.
So, uh, and 15 years later, once they double in price, the rent has already gone up. So, lot of what, so the indicators that we follow when we are buying like mass real estate is we want to buy uh, even during this type of environment, like when interest rates are higher, the real estate prices are actually in check or declining sometimes, which is a good time to buy, because anything you buy now, even if it doesn't cash flow, as long as it breaks even today, 5 years later it's going to cash flow.
Right. Well,
10
that's
years
a good
later,
point.
it's gonna double in value. So if you don't need the money to buy more, if you have money or can raise money to buy more, I would just hold on to it.
Mhm.
Or 1031, worst case scenario. Don't pay taxes on it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Great advice. Thank you.
Good luck. Awesome. All right. Do we have anything else? Jada?
We,
Anybody else?
yeah,
Has
we have Marvin that had sent you his deal.
Marvin, always with the big.
I know Marvin's got a taste for the larger things in life.
Okay, you sent it to my email, Marvin?
Yeah, the chai, the same email I've sent the others to. Sorry, I had more of the details in front of me, but I'm on the go now. I had to run a few errands.
No, this is a long time. I don't have any email right now from you.
Maybe spam. I know
Check spam.
for some reason, a few of my emails been going there. Is it the chai at top or step up capital, something like that?
Yeah, step up dash capital. There is a dash in
Right.
between.
Yeah, I copied and pasted it from what
Let me check the spam. Okay, yeah, there you go. And this is a 79 million, but quite motivated, and I'm sure take less. 42 million loan assumable at 3.7%. Oh, wow.
so I've been working this one about um maybe over 6 months now. He's still willing to get creative with it. He is asking for a 1% assumption fee to take over the 42 million.
But what about his equity? Is he willing to give it a seller finance?
We did discuss that, like briefly. He was open to it. He said,
Okay. Okay, so this is 2024 rent roll. Okay. Net. $415. Mortgage. After everything said and done for 500 unit property, it's only $86,000. Wow. Okay. So just using this number alone, 415,000, that's the net operating income.
so
When you
that's
underwrite apartment complexes, net operating income is probably the most important number anybody's going to look at. That number comes from adding your gross income and I mean subtracting all the expenses but mortgage payment from your gross income. So that includes your property taxes, insurance, maintenance, staff, management fees, any other utilities, common area maintenance. You need to charge anything but your principal and interest. You deduct that from your gross income and you get net operating income. It also means another way to think about net operating income is if you were to pay $79 million cash for this property, after that means you don't have a mortgage on it,
mhm,
then this is what you're going to take home every year. Okay. 415. Now,
gotcha.
415,000 divide by 0.07. I'm just using 7% as a cap rate, and I'll tell you what that means. Okay. I'll divide 415 divided by 7% gives me a number of 59. What? Hold on. 5.9 million. Is that right? Huh. Should be 59 million. I don't know.
So just FYI, this one there's about 4 different buildings as well. And he's selling them all together as a package.
Okay.
So the financials it marks them off for each different building. It has the addresses.
Okay. Are these numbers in thousands or something? Something's not right. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, there is like 3 or 4 different buildings. So they are separately. They have separate. Okay, so this is JMT management 12. Okay, so let me look into these numbers a little bit in depth, Marvin, and call you, or we can underwrite this on the next week's call. I think there is something
I
missing, like some information is not looking right, because, for example, if you're paying 79 million today on for anything, which is a huge number, by the way, times 0.07, so 5.53 million needs to be the NOI total. So I need financials to show everything in one P&L. Right now, the way it is organized, it is impossible to collect and underwrite. So
yeah.
buildings together needs to be a minimum at 5.5 million NOI, net operating income.
Right.
That means
And
are talking about, so this is 550 units. So if you put 79 divided by 550, you're talking about 143,000 per unit. What is the average rent in these areas?
average is
12 to
around
1300. Oh my gosh, yeah.
yeah.
This is
Around
way overpriced deal, in my opinion.
yeah. So the 79 million, he definitely came down recently, our last conversation. So he was more so around 40 or right around the current assumption that it would be. So 42 million with the 1% assumption fee.
Okay. Okay. So let me look into it and then call you privately on this one, because this is, unless there is some concrete numbers, and there is no point in going down this rabbit hole. It's gonna waste a lot of time for a lot of people. So let's do this privately. And if there is anything that comes off, then we can do a session on this one next week. How about that?
Sounds good.
Okay. Awesome. And I gotta go back to my family, so I will see you guys next week. And until then, make a post. Anything you guys, if you guys got anything out of today's call, please share with the community, post on your socials. And if you need a copy of the spreadsheet we did for Hannah, please ask in the community and we will drop a link. Okay, until next week.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
Chad.
Thanks,
Thanks, Jada. Appreciate
everybody.
you guys.
Thanks, Marvin. Thanks, Don, for bringing the deals. Appreciate you guys.
Bye. Take
Bye, everybody.